Hi, it's CTilde, and I wanted to go over imports. So I have this one lined up here. This is from an artist. I have her Instagram pulled up. Really popular artist with everyone in Recolor. A lot of people do a lot of her art. It's Bluesssatan, but Julia Razumova. And it's this picture right here that I'm going to attempt to recolor. It's really beautiful. Everything she does is just gorgeous. I definitely recommend following her on Instagram and on Facebook and anywhere else you can find her. She is so talented. But let's go back. So what I have here is I've imported it a couple of times, so I wanted to show you. I guess this is just an import on the lightest version of just the colored picture itself, that it turned to black and white. Remember, with imports and Recolor, there is no way ever that anybody can import a picture that has color in it. So don't let anybody accuse you of cheating or anything like that. You cannot import a picture with color. It will automatically turn every picture into black and white. These two are just versions of my fixing it in some way or another before I import it. So this would be the lightest version I did to smooth out her face and make it as light as possible. You're only going to get pure white in your import if there's pure white actually on it. So like, you know, in her eyes and everywhere. So if you're always feeling like, oh, everything kind of is grayish, it's because when you imported it, it wasn't white enough. And this is just a little bit darker than the other one. The reason I do this is because I like to shade the face myself for the most part. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong at all. There's talent and just skill involved with taking this picture and putting the color over it, you know, and following the shading that's already there. It's beautiful, and it takes a lot of effort and a lot of thought and a lot of time. But I like doing imports this way. I like to decide how I want to shade it. So this is the one I'm going to use. So again, I have this app called Facetune. So I put it in, I turned it into black and white. I lightened it a whole lot. So that's all I've done. And if all possible with imports, I like to keep the artist's name in there as well. And I always credit them, because that's important to me. But let's just start coloring her, and we can jab her on as we go. So again, this color is my go-to base coat. I'm going to put it on the solid option up here at the top of that circle. So you can just, you know, go over it real quick. And give her her base coat here. And then basically I'm going to approach this how I approach those Recolor pictures. I'm going to start just adding the same layers of shading that I do. This is actually one I haven't attempted yet, so we'll see how this goes. So I'll go to this color right here and kind of frame her face with it. You know, add just another skin tone on top of that other skin tone. Again, I feel like there is nothing wrong with getting an import and copying it exactly how the artist did it, you know. I think the best way to learn is to copy what you see, to try to learn these techniques, you know. I think Julia here has a very unique style, so it's fun to pick up some of the techniques that she likes to utilize a lot. And I think it's also okay is because we're doing this in a recoloring app. No one is ever going to assume that I drew this if I put it on Recolor. We are not claiming to be the original artists. We are just recoloring the artwork done by other people. And like I've said in my about section about my channel, I don't care if people copy anything that I do, because that's the way you learn. So if you feel inspired by any way that I do something, just do it, you know? I'm not gonna get all up in arms because I think you try to shade something the way I shaded it. Yeah, I'm not the biggest import fan. I did have an import phase for a while there, that I just did imports like 6 months ago, you know, or something. That's all I did. But I felt too constricted by the shading that's already here, you know, and in my ability to whiten out as much as that is possible wasn't helping me either. You know, I still couldn't get the effects that I wanted. So that's why I typically stick to those recolor images, or otherwise known as vector images. You know, just black outlines. Because they allow me to just shade it the way I want. And again, with the imports, I kind of start dark, and then I'll kind of blend everybody out as we go. And yeah, I think everyone sees that kind of the most popular things are the imports, you know. Comes down to a lot of things, just whatever picture you've chosen that just speaks to people for whatever reason, you know. And also some skill involved. Some people are just so awesome at imports, like Chrissy W. I'm sure she won't mind me saying her name. She has a channel on YouTube. It's ChrissyRecolor. I can link that below. She does great imports. She picks the best pictures. They're so pretty. And I guess my problem is I want to overwork everything too. So that's why imports just aren't my thing. But yeah, I think the funnest part about doing imports for me is to ignore her eyes for the longest time, and then when I finally go in and start whitening it out and adding the eye color, that's kind of when it all pops. That's kind of my save it for last thing. That's when it really pops. So I feel like I've worked in her second skin tone here, so I'll kind of work in a darker one. And really, you know, I do want to shade my own way, but again, I still have to follow what the artist has already laid down, you know. And I don't know, I probably overwork them so much that it doesn't matter. It's like, why did you even bother putting all that effort in there when it's already shaded? No one's really gonna notice. That's okay. I notice, and that's what matters. You know? It makes me happy. So I'm assuming the light is coming from this side of her. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't really understand where the light was coming from in the original. What was that? Just kind of straight on, and yeah, coming from that same side, yeah. Well, that multicolor, that's probably not what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to leave her skin toned. And I did manage to get all those freckles out of her too. Just kind of give it a more smooth effect. Blot, 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 blot. So really, I'm just building layers and layers of color. Sure, some of these things I do probably were a waste of time, but, you know, make me feel better doing it. Excuse me. I think I clear my throat when I think I have nothing to say. Maybe that's what I'm doing that for. I mean, I do have my soda with me, so if you're slurping, that's just me. I do have a Coca-Cola addiction. It's fine. I'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, I don't do a whole lot of videos of just imports because they're just not as fun for me to do, you know? I'm gonna make a darker shade here. And then, oh gosh, so really, like, this is something I pick, you know? I like portraits, you know? And I think I like portraits is because of my sheer laziness, because the amount of detail that some people put, you know, with all the trees and the flowers and everything going on around it, I'm like, oh God, that's gonna take me forever. I'm just not gonna do that, you know? I'm way too lazy for all that, so, yeah. So, I think I stick mostly to portraits too, is because I am that lazy. I don't want to do all that background noise. Ugh. I made a little bit darker color. And again, you know, they're going to hang out here in my recents. If I can find them again. Be fine. I don't know, we might give her some eyeshadow. I'm probably not going to talk through the entire time I'm doing this. Imports. Just depends. Can take me a lot longer, and I will not make a 2-hour video of me coloring. That would be obnoxious. Yeah, I think we're getting a solid start here. We got our temples kind of, you know, etched in there. Got our eyes darkened a little. You know, kind of playing up all that makeup that the fantastic original artists gave her. Who, again, especially if this is, you know, since this is going to be a YouTube video, her name's going to be popping up everywhere because I do not want to make an artist angry at me at all. In the Recolor app, I'm not sure how much that matters to them. Because it's, again, it's just a recoloring app, you know. But again, I'm not like a professional artist, so it's up to them to decide what they think is appropriate for their art. And I like to think at the very least I'm not destroying it. I'm not embarrassing them for having done something to it, so... Yeah, I feel like we're a little blotchy, so I'm going to use this color and kind of boop, boop, boop around. You know? So we got the curve of her nose, you know, happening here, basically, you know. That's where her nostril is. Don't worry, I'm not going to keep that in. And her other nostril. I like this artist's style of doing noses. It's really nice and really rounded, and oops, it's just really beautiful. But the eyes have it. I know her eyes and lips get all the attention, but I really like her noses too. The app she uses, I know she created brushes and stuff. She's like a professional, you know, like if you want to color the way she does, she gave you all the cheats. She gave you all her brushes, so you can just boom, 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 add eyebrows and eyelashes. So I would definitely check her out if you want to get more into actual digital art. She is amazing. Yeah, let's bring out these eyeballs a little bit. Oops. Too much. Too much. I don't know. Yeah, this is me going over forever and ever and ever, probably giving myself more work than I needed to, and just blending everything in. Now I'm taking my base coat and kind of tapping everybody out here. You know, she's got that nice light that's coming in right there. She kind of come in right here, kind of highlighting the head. Not down, further and farther, not see. Yeah, and just the little things here, you know, like she had that nose is catching the light. Oops, nose is catching the light right here, so I'm just gonna out. Now, it really pops. It'll all start coming together here in a minute, at least I hope. If not, I'll delete this, go.
But now this is my favorite part, where I white out the eyes and I start coloring them. It makes it pop a lot. So it's me just getting all that color out, because again, I'm sloppy when I do it. I'm trying to get my shading right and fix things later. So if I have purple eyeshadow, I definitely want to give her green eyes, because I love purple and green together. And if her eyeshadow wasn't purple, I would have made her hair purple, because I'm obsessed with purple hair. So I'm going to use the black to highlight around her eyeball to give it more of a 3D look. Then right here is my favorite to do some white outline around it to give it that extra pop. where the light is hitting the waterline in her eye. Typically doing this, you know, around the outside and inside edges is a good way to just make an eyeball look three-dimensional. Just depends on the picture. Sometimes it works in the Recolor picture, sometimes it doesn't. And again, Bluesssatan is just awesome, so she already has laid down the huge foundation. So again, when I'm doing green, I stick to the same thing with eyeballs every time. The top of it is always darker than the light of it. That typically just gives it a really good pop. And then the outline of the eyeball itself is going to be darker than, you know, the inside. So that's all I'm doing, is using my greens, and I'll go through and use that lightest yellow too. Yeah, keeping it dark at the top and light down at the bottom, and just keep working it, you know, like doing this, adding like lines and freckles in the eyes. Sometimes that really helps to make it pop, and sometimes it's so small you can't even tell I've done it. But I know it's there, and that makes me happy. So, and I'll just keep working it, and then that final touch of, you know, whiting out that light reflection in her eye as well. It's really nice.